Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Patreon-sponsored review time again, and can you believe it's been 9 years since I talked about Thunderbirds? Yeah, another Patreon-sponsored review way back in 2017, and God, it is weird to say way back in 2017. Time's march really needs to slow down already because it does not feel like it's been 9 years. As a reminder, in case you don't want to rewatch my review of Thunderbirds or Go, which you should, that episode is funny, Thunderbirds were one of the many creations of Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, the pioneers of supermarionation shows like It, Fireball XL5, Captain Scarlet, and more. They were action shows utilizing puppets and miniatures for almost everything. They were not the deepest of material, but they were very entertaining and relatively popular. Popular enough, in fact, that they got comic tie-ins, which is what we're here to talk about today. Being British productions, it's no surprise that Thunderbirds and other shows like it ended up in British comic magazines. These kind of magazines were different than American ones we normally talk about around here. They're heavily serialized, with usually no more than 1 or 2 pages per issue. We've seen it before with the early Doctor Who comics I've reviewed. And thus that brings us to TV Century 21, the magazine co-produced by Jerry and Sylvia's Century 21 Productions company. The covers are an interesting idea with these, presented as a newspaper with headlines about the stories within their pages. And since a lot of the stories featured within were the supermarionation shows, they were all considered to be sharing the same universe. Although that kind of makes it awkward when you consider the book also sometimes featured stories for Star Trek and Doctor Who's Daleks. So if the Thunderbirds were fighting against the Daleks in the same universe, were they fighting them as tiny puppets swarming a Dalek casing, or were they fighting, like, the Daypole Dalek toys? Thunderbirds is set in the 2060s, when in Star Trek's fictional history they're trying to recover from World War III. Were the Thunderbirds involved in the foundation of Starfleet? Did Jeff Tracy act as ambassador to the Vulcans? Joking aside, the magazine lasted from 1965 to 1971, losing various strips over the years and merging with other magazines, in particular TV Tornado and Joe 90. The shared universe newspaper cover idea was eventually dropped and they lost the license to the supermarionation shows, eventually dropping most TV show tie-ins, and instead getting some Marvel reprints and more general action-adventure stuff before the magazine finally stopped printing. It may not have been the longest-running comic magazine, but it definitely has a beloved and well-remembered legacy for a lot of people. So let's dig into Lady Penelope, Mr. Steelman, and Thunderbirds, Blazing Danger, and see if these still hold up.
The fourth wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. What's with these awkward subjects? What's all this art so rubbish? To anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man, punch, sporadically a grouch. Linkara, he has his own spaceship, but he's always on his couch. Linkara, a universe in flux. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Given the nature of the magazine and these stories, it's best if we skip the covers. Putting aside how we're looking at stories from 18 comics, most of them don't actually talk about the stories we're looking at. The Lady Penelope story doesn't get mentioned on the cover until issue 5, and it's only text, and only issue 5. The Thunderbird story issues get interrupted by Stingray and Fireball for some reason. You know what was consistent across these covers, though? Corgi Model Club news. And no, it's not actually about the dogs, it's about Corgi Toys, a company that produced model cars. And putting aside this front page thing they advertise on every issue is only half a page when you get to it, a lot of the time it's not actually about their toys or even news. It's like the history of racing and cars and stuff. It's neat little educational snippets, but did we need to tell people about this on the front page over some of the actual features of the book? It'd be like if every title card of the show had a little yellow box that said, "In this episode, end credits!" Yes, it's true, but were there people worried that it wasn't going to be there and they needed the reassurance? The first of the 2 stories we're looking at today is Lady Penelope's Mr. Steelman. Odd that Lady Penelope is getting her own series before Thunderbirds overall. Yeah, she's a Thunderbirds character, but it's not like Alan Tracy is getting his own series first, despite being the hero of the day.
To Alan, the hero of the day.
Anyway, we open with a burglar entering into an apartment via a tall window. Burglar Supreme. The Nose Parker is a craftsman, an absolute master of his illegal trade, though he only graduated with a bachelor's degree. As he works to open a safe, we can see in this panel that this The Nose Parker is in fact Lady Penelope's driver Parker, and we soon see that this is an origin story for how he started working for her. As Parker manages to steal some jewels from the safe, a light turns on. "That was well done, Parker. Everything I've heard of you is true, including the smell. How have you not been caught yet?" Parker knows that this woman doesn't live here, but soon recognizes her. "Hold on, I've seen your pictures in the glossies when I was casing jobs. You're Lady Penelope Creighton Ward. As you can see, I can flip on light switches with my brain." It's not a very useful superpower, but it does make for good dramatic reveals. "I came to see you at work. It was an education. Ironically, I now need those jewels to pay for tuition." We get this close-up of Lady Penelope, and yeah, this kind of highlights a minor issue with this stuff I'm having. For me, part of the appeal of the super marionation stuff is that it's puppets. That they're doing all this stuff with models and miniatures and wires operating little dolls. It's not quite the same thing when it's art, especially not art mimicking the proportions of the puppets. It just looks weirdly uncanny. Yes, I know that's weird to say when it's not like the puppets were incredibly lifelike to begin with, but there's just something about it drawn like that that makes it weird to look at. We can see artwork and animation in many styles, but the presentation style is one of the selling points, so it just looks weird when they take the exaggerated and smooth plastic surface of the puppets and translates that into comic art. Just imagine if the rest of the review was still frames featuring drawings of my action figures. It just doesn't look right. Anyway, she tells him to return the jewels and that they need to leave now before the owners return. That she wants to hire him to work for her. To ensure his cooperation, she says that she has enough evidence on him to put him in jail for 20 years. "Bah! I'm a puppet. With correct maintenance, my lady, I'll still be as spry as I am now in 20 years. Do your worst!" But no, he agrees, and she says she wants his help opening a certain safe, telling him to go to the Latvian embassy. However, on the way, a limo passes by, and a bunch of guys come out brandishing machine guns, opening fire on them. "Oh my god, Parker, they found me. I don't know how, but the Libyans found me!" The car is bulletproof, so she instructs him to press the third button on the right. Lady Penelope's Rolls Royce is a traveling arsenal. And said arsenal does something? It shoots out a laser beam or an oil slick or something, and the pursuing car crashes into a light pole. She explains that those men were after the contents of the safe they're going to break into. "You're a spy!" "Not really. A special agent working for myself. And my quick thinking has earned me another raise. Just have to put in the paperwork with HR, which is also me, so it won't take long." They arrive at the embassy and sneak into the room with the safe. "Here, this safe's ticking." "Perhaps they've the grandfather clock in there." "Actually, I'm pretty sure it's the intro to 60 Minutes. He declares it's a bomb, ending our first 2 pages. There's a little fake news article where Lady Penelope describes investigating the set of the Roger Moore show The Saint, but we'll be skipping anything like that, I think. I mean, it's no Corgi Model Club news after all. Both take cover and survive the explosion, which blows open the safe. Shockingly, the contents of the safe are undamaged. Some kind of canister the bomb was intended to protect by killing whoever tried to steal it. They head out to Penelope's mansion, and I guess they just sat in silence the whole trip, because only now does she explain what the hell the canister is for. "This container holds plans for a new hydromic device capable of destroying the whole world. Going to leak this before they officially announce it at the convention. I'm gonna get so many hits on my blog! We really must get you into a more suitable wardrobe." "How can you talk about clothes at a time like this? And frankly, your outfit is like 90% starch considering how wide that collar is on the shirt, so I don't think you're in a position to give me fashion advice." Over tea, she explains what this is all about. A Latvian scientist developed the Doomsday device, and then got shot. By somebody. For some reason. Anyway, the blueprints are the only things left of his work and need to be destroyed. Unfortunately, the material they're made out of is hardy stuff and can only be destroyed by bombarding them with radioactive uranium G21 particles. Then it'll be radioactive. That can be good. Unfortunately, they soon spot a group of soldiers and armored trucks have stormed through the gates of the mansion. "Okay, boys, go in with guns blazing. Mr. Steelman has ordered us to get those plans at all costs. So let's make sure to shoot the only people who know where they are."
You magnificent bastard, I read your book!
On to issue 3. Lady Penelope is unconcerned. She suspects that the forces attacking are mercenaries, and while they're armed to the teeth, they're clearly not equipped to deal with this particular house, which is built like a fortress. It's equipped with landmines, trapdoors, bulletproof glass and walls. Basically, you need solid snake to get into a place like this. She tells Parker to guard the plans well, but she's gonna get some sleep. Lady Penelope, elegance, charm, deadly danger, mid-afternoon naps. The troops are not doing well with all the booby traps protecting the place. However, a figure in black drives close and manages to sneak into the house itself, knock out Parker, and then flee in a car along with the plans. Yeah, issue 3 is pretty action-focused, so not a lot happens here, and it kind of highlights one of the flaws in this type of format. Sure, the cliffhanger keeps the audience wanting to know more, but look how quickly those 2 pages were over and done with. The mercenaries continue their attack, but only for a moment. The Geiger counter proves it. The plans have been removed from the house. Wait, they were already radioactive? The mercenaries retreat, and Lady Penelope finds Parker an hour later as he wakes up. Ugh, what hit me? You are privileged to be knocked out by one of the few people who know of my undercover activities. You knew this was going to happen? Oh yes, Parker. It was all arranged. Your concussion? Part of my master plan. But yeah, indeed, this dude was supposed to steal the plan so he could bring it to a nuclear reactor and just shoves it inside of the reactor core. I know this was meant to be read over a longer period of time, but it really is kind of a pacing issue when reading these back to back.
Wow, they held the tension for a full second.
After leaving the nuclear plant, he takes off his mask, and I feel like we're supposed to know who this guy is from this reveal. But whatever, some other car spots them driving and rams them off a cliff to take us to issue 5. The guy survives the crash and sends a signal in his wrecked car to Lady Penelope as his attackers take him as a hostage, and bring him to their weird future car that was hidden inside of the shell of a less futuristic car. Damn, sure fooled me. Back at the mansion, Parker is now in his driving suit. The uniform fits perfectly, milady. Yes, Parker. You look most presentable. And then a nearby statue's eyes start glowing. One of your gadgets is making eyes at me. Yes, it loves what that uniform is doing to your butt, Parker. Penelope explains that it's a message from Roger Lyon, the guy who destroyed the plans. It's an indication that he's in trouble, so they quickly get into the car, Fab 1 as it's better known, though they don't use the name for a while, to find out what happened. Parker asks why she does all this. Excitement, Parker. I enjoy skirmishing with the criminal element, even though a direct attack on my home was so boring that I felt the need to take a nap while it was happening. She's like Batman, preferring to make people think she's just a vapid rich lady when she's actually out fighting crime. Parker then asks about this Mr. Steelman guy, someone out to rule the world. He knows Lady Penelope's secret, but it's not like he's going to expose her since he has nothing to gain by doing so, and no one would believe it anyway. Besides, Mr. Steelman has every reason to remain undercover himself. He is perhaps the most ruthless criminal the world has ever known, Parker. Oh yeah? More than infamous crime lord Big Dicks? They find the wrecked car and figure Roger has been kidnapped. And indeed, we soon see him being brought to a secret ship. His watch serves as a homing beacon, which he activates before being held in a chair to meet Mr. Steelman, who, it turns out, is a robot. Little on the nose, isn't it, dude? I mean, if I was a crime lord, I wouldn't call myself Mr. Skin and Hair Man. On to issue 6, Roger says he can't tell Steelman about the plans. Oh, come now, Mr. Lyon. Was not your curiosity aroused when the blueprints came into your hands? Well, yeah, but they were written in Latvian, which is like an offshoot of Polish. I have no idea what they said. Roger denies knowing anything, and he's sent down deeper into the ship. When do we start torturing him? Sometimes you amaze me, Luigi. Can anyone have less brains than you? We use enhanced interrogation techniques, not torture. Didn't you get the memo? Torture will get us nowhere. Lyon is an agent for Lady Penelope. He has been trained to suffer more pain than we are capable of inflicting. 5 minutes of having to endure Lady Penelope will make anyone immune to torture. They plan on doing something to him in Naples that will do the trick. Parker and Penelope are in pursuit, detecting that he's on water. As the pink Rolls-Royce glides on toward the deserted point on the coast, Parker remembers what Lady Penelope told him about Mr. Steelman. He is perhaps the most ruthless criminal on Earth, she had said, with one ambition, to rule the world. Linkara recalls only a few minutes ago when he read this exact same thing off and then referenced Big Dicks, a character featured in the Blue Beetle title retrospective. This book was released weekly. I don't think you need to remind the kids reading it what she said that soon afterwards. I mean, for crying out loud, he's an evil robot criminal with lackeys and a boat. I think we can presume world domination is on the docket. In any case, arriving at the coast, Lady Penelope reveals that she has a boat they can take. Guessing this is before she was able to convert the Rolls-Royce into a boat, since she could do that in the Thunderbirds movie. Oh wait, never mind. Issue 7 begins with them taking it over to the larger yacht. Yeah, it's probably faster and stronger, but still. That being said, once aboard, she reveals that there isn't a crew on this thing, just an autopilot computer that she named George. Unfortunately, when employees find out about my, shall we call them, adventures, they leave me for a quieter life. By the way, did I mention I'm also a drug smuggler? It's how I got rich. While Roger is being loaded to be moved to their hideout, Mr. Steelman spots the yacht in pursuit and fires torpedoes at them. Lady Penelope is drinking tea. Parker, it would appear that we are going to be blown up. What? Who by? Where? How? One of those nasty torpedo things is heading this way. Oh dear, Mr. Steelman is going to destroy my lovely boat. Did I mention that I've been lacing this tea with THC? I'm flatter than a sheet of paper right now. But what about us? Yes, that is a problem, isn't it? We'd better move closer to where the torpedo is going to hit. Don't want to miss out on the fun. And the boat explodes. Good cliffhanger comic on issue 8. The boat is indeed destroyed, but apparently they were having tea in the yacht's garage, which is bomb-proof. I have other boats, but there's only one Fab 1. Okay, but why wouldn't you make the entire boat bomb-proof if that was an option? They continue their pursuit in Fab 1, chasing the henchmen who are driving Roger away. The henchmen say that they know nothing about Mr. Steelman. They only ever interact with the robot, which seems to imply that they think a human is operating him. We also see Mr. Steelman exiting his ship and going into a secret tunnel under the water. Our heroes, meanwhile, catch up with the goons in the ruins of Pompeii, observing as a structure lifts up to reveal it's actually a front for a base that's apparently right in the middle of Mount Vesuvius. Moving on to issue 9, Parker and Lady Penelope enter the tunnel into the Vesuvius base while Roger is set up to be interrogated by Steelman. You will tell me all you remember about the plans of the Doomsday Bomb. I destroyed them. You'll get nothing out of me. You are wrong. You will talk without realizing it. Such are the wonders of science and technology. Behold, I have invented social media. You will blather about nothing and reveal all your secrets and ethical breaches without even realizing it. Yeah, it's some sort of brain drain machine, probably on loan from Dr. Doom. You feel no pain, but your brain is in my power. Soon you will tell me all. Mr. Steelman quickly realizes his error when Roger starts listing off his increasingly bizarre list of favorite fetishes. Parker and Penelope soon reach a door at the end of the tunnel, Parker getting to use his lockpicking skills again to get inside. Unfortunately, it seems that the interrogation is happening just in the next room since they encounter Mr. Steelman. Good afternoon. I presume you are Mr. Steelman. Please, Mr. Steelman was my father's name. Welcome, Lady Penelope. Won't you come in and die? Eat my nail file of death, meatbag. Issue 10. Suddenly, our heroes are surrounded by armed goons who take Penelope and tie her onto a platform. Steelman opens a hatch out into the lava of Vesuvius, explaining that at his command, he'll release her from the platform right into the lava. He also has Parker and Roger brought in closer to see, but she makes a last request. May I have my lipstick? A girl feels much better when she puts on fresh makeup.
There is logic in what he says.
One of the henchmen grabs the lipstick, opening it up, and a gas is released right into their face. Describing all that happened in 2 pages was one short paragraph. But yeah, final issue of Mr. Steelman. Penelope orders Roger into action, and he slugs one of the goons. Penelope asks Parker to free her, but Mr. Steelman shoots some electric ray at him. He misses, so Parker is able to deal with Mr. Steelman in the most natural way, run straight into Mr. Steelman head first and knock him into the purple lava. And that's why he continued to work for Lady Penelope after all this. He needed her to pay for the medical bills. One of the remaining goons shoots Roger in the shoulder, Lady Penelope ending the issue by tossing her handbag against a wall. It's full of explosives that allow the lava to start flowing in. Our heroes make their escape out of the base, outrunning the lava, as it floods into Pompeii. When that lava cools, Pompeii will be buried again. Yes, Parker, but think what fun the archaeologists will have once more uncovering the ruins. So, Pompeii is actually a massive tourism site, my lady. Does that mean they're all dead now? Our story ends with Fab 1 getting loaded onto a plane, Lady Penelope pointing out that Mr. Steelman could have been remote controlled, so who knows if they've really seen the last of him. And from there, we jump ahead to issue 52 for the Thunderbirds story. We open with Lady Penelope and Parker arriving at Tracy Island in a big jet. The artwork on the characters is a lot less puppet-like, still retaining recognizable features, but more proportioned like human beings. Jeff Tracy, the head of International Rescue, greets the two and brings them inside. This is apparently the first time she's meeting the crew. Our organization is top secret, and our aim is to achieve rescues where normal methods are impossible. So we've trained 50 gophers to operate jetpacks as our first unorthodox rescue method. Jeff, I'm very impressed. I'd be honored to be your British agent. Oh yeah, part of the standard organizational structure of a top secret group. Engineers, pilot, British agent. They witness Thunderbird 3, the space rocket, get launched to Thunderbird 5 in orbit. International Rescue's space station, which can detect a call for help immediately if it is transmitted. If it's not transmitted, you're on your own. There's a procedure for this, damn it. John and Alan Tracy look at the Earth in orbit. That sure is a beautiful sight. Yeah, the Earth from space never fails to thrill me, Alan. John, do you ever feel, not so fresh? That's Canada and the US down there, isn't it?
Canada calls to ask, what are you guys doing up there?
We cut to a black and white page. Yeah, for some reason this story is structured in 3 pages per issue. 2 color, 1 black and white. I don't get it either. Anyway, 2 men, Sam Lincoln and Jack Farrell, are in the Canadian wilderness fishing. Sam goes off to get some food and coffee, but then sends a transmission to someone, who tells him to set up some incendiary charges that'll kill Jack. As Thunderbird 3 starts on its return flight to Earth, the radio call from Canada is being monitored by the Thunderbird 5 apparatus. International Rescue, screw your privacy, we're listening in on your phone calls. Jack and whoever he's working with plan to start a massive forest fire. John Tracy listens with mounting interest. He has no intention of stopping it. This is just how he keeps himself entertained alone in space. Sam explodes the charges and starts the fire. In the vast area of forest, 1,000 miniature flames ignite. Well, yeah, this is based on little puppets. Of course they'd be miniature. Lincoln's fishing bag contains something other than tackle.
The Wonder Boner.
Now to catch me a fish. A fish with 2 legs and a habit of getting in my way. Anyway, back to color in the next issue as Sam says that Boise will be there soon with a helijet to pick him up. John reports all this to his dad. He says they're not the cops, but he'll warn the authorities about it. The information is passed on and fire trucks are dispatched to the forest, but the blaze has already begun to get out of control. Sam and Jack spot the approaching fire and start trying to escape it. Now that there's an actual emergency, and not just someone plotting to murder someone else, John sends Scott Tracy and Thunderbird 1 to go and help. He contacts the firefighters, but they report they can't reach the 2 fishermen at present. Back over to them, Sam pulls a gun on Jack. Sam, are you crazy? What's the idea? It's all that moisturizer you wear, Jack. I'll throw your body onto the fire, and it'll douse the flames! No, he says that with Jack out of the way, he'll be able to take control of the Canada Engineering Company and become one of the richest men around. He also explains that he'll escape the blaze with a helijet. And in the next issue, he explains that he's not actually going to kill him until the helijet arrives. Feels like he pulled the gun a bit early then. The helijet does soon arrive, but the fire's too strong. It gets up high enough to blow the helijet's fuel tanks and it quickly crashes. The roaring rapids claim another victim. The macabre list, begun centuries before, grows by 1. The fire quickly complains that was its kill and not the rapids. We'll go to the referee in just a moment for the verdict. Scott Tracy reaches the firefighters, who explain where the 2 fishermen are located behind the blaze. They're blocked off from rescue by the fire on one side and the river rapids on the other. Realizing he's going to need some help, Scott summons Thunderbirds 2 and 4 to assist. While they're en route, we rejoin our fishermen. With the helijet down, Jack asks what Sam's plan is now. However, a momentary distraction allows Jack to punch Sam across the face and steal his gun. I ought to kill you right here, but I'm no murderer. The car's our only chance, come on! Don't worry, we'll be completely safe inside my asbestos car. They do soon reach the vehicle, which explodes as the fire continues spreading. As we go into the next issue, Jack angrily rants about how, this is all Sam's fault and they're going to die. Fortunately, Thunderbirds 1 and 2 are approaching, one already doing a survey of the area. Thunderbird 1 to Thunderbird 2, what is your ETA at the danger zone? We're just getting onto the highway to the danger zone now. It'll take us right into the danger zone. Over. Thunderbird 2 heads to the river first and deploys Thunderbird 4, a water vehicle, to head down the river and quickly locate the fishermen. Scott Tracy and Thunderbird 1 uses a megaphone to call out to them, instructing them to head to the boulders. While Thunderbird 4 reaches the two, the current is very strong and starts pulling it away. He has to use the booster engines to stay in place, but it starts overheating said engines. The two are loaded aboard, but the engines fail and they start going over the rocky waterfall nearby. We go into the next issue with Thunderbird 1 trying to get to them, though it's not looking great. There isn't a bunch of space in Thunderbird 4, and they haven't had time to put on seatbelts, and yet despite the rapids, they survive and manage to get beached along a shore. Boy, is this some craft! You fellers must have perfected a special metal. Oh yeah, this thing's made of pure Nintendium. As it happens, while we wait for pickup, there are Game Boy controls in your seat to play something. We got a guy named Brains. He's always coming up with new ideas. Problem is that like 90% of them are just, what if I duct taped guns to farm animals? Thunderbird 2 heads down and picks up the craft, flying away from the area. Well, Lincoln, are you satisfied? Your murder scheme nearly cost the lives of 3 people, including your own. Well, considering the plan was to murder at least one person, I'm not really sure you can shame me with that detail. Thunderbird 1 reconnects with the firefighters, who report that things are getting worse. Homes and families will be in danger soon, so they contact Virgil and Thunderbird 2 to get some firefighting gear ready. First, they have to drop off the firemen, but Sam grabs hold of Virgil's gun and threatens his life, saying he wants the firefighting gear for himself. They let him go, taking the firefighting vehicle. This baby's built like a tank. I can go straight through the fire, and no one can stop me! Spoken like a Cybertruck driver about to experience a sad revelation. They have other firefighting tanks that are quickly deployed to actually do the job. Thunderbird 1 heading out to try to find Sam. He does locate him, and things aren't going well. The machines are fire-resistant, not fire-proof. Not made any better by the smoke making him drive blindly. Once they find him trapped, Virgil and another firefighting tank heads in and pulls him out of the tank before it explodes. The explosion knocks them both down, but Sam, being an asshole, decides to steal the other firefighting tank, having to knock out Virgil in the process. That brings us to the final issue for this story. Virgil being rescued by the other tank before the fire gets any closer. They finish up working on the fire while Thunderbird 1 catches up with Sam, buzzing him closely. Get away, you crazy fool! You'll turn me over! I don't know, guys. I'm kind of skeptical about this new Star Fox remake. And indeed, the tank is turned over. Thunderbird 1 landing and Sam finally getting taken into custody. The firefighters ask what they can do to thank the group now that the fire's taken care of. Just forget everything you've seen today. If International Rescue's secrets fall into the wrong hands, the whole world could be in danger. Trust me, we can only trust incredibly powerful technology with rich people. They would never use their wealth for evil or anything. After loading up the damaged equipment, Thunderbirds 1 and 2 fly off back to base. Making final approach. Permission to land. Permission granted, Scott. Thunderbird 1 first. The pool is open. Begin the high dive out of Thunderbird 1. Over. And so our story ends with the characters celebrating a successful mission both on the ground and in Thunderbird 5. Guess I'd better get back to base with Thunderbird 3. Yes, one rescue is complete, but it won't be long before Thunderbirds are go once again. This is my eternal purgatory, stuck in space and forced to invade the privacy of others so that I might hear a desperate scream for help. Anyway, these stories are fine, though for all its flaws, the Lady Penelope one is better. The problem with a lot of Thunderbird stuff I've seen is that often the action sequences take priority over any characterization or personality. Or if we do have personality, it's either annoying or confined to a few characters. And that's the case with Blazing Danger. The characters feel pretty interchangeable, and it's all about the big rescue stuff. It's certainly exciting material, but it's not something I'm going to think back on and be like, oh man, this is gonna stay with me forever. Mr. Steelman has a lot more going for it. Lady Penelope and Parker have a wonderful rapport in the story, as Parker is increasingly dumbfounded by the exciting, dangerous situations that Lady Penelope shrugs off with extreme confidence. Not smugness, mind you, just complete confidence in her defenses and her ability to get through tough situations. It just feels like the action complements the characters better, even if the overall story is just kind of meh. I also criticized the decision to have 2 color pages, then a black and white one in Blazing Danger. It's not a huge issue, but it does feel a bit disjointed to keep swapping between them. It's especially weird reading this all back to back, so it keeps changing. It's not just a case of, hey, the first 2 pages are color, the rest is black and white. That'd be fine. Here it just is awkward, especially since so many of these stories are normally just 2 pages. Although, having 3 pages at a time does help with the pacing issues Lady Penelope had, though. Next time, another Patreon-sponsored review, and we're sticking with the British for a bit, since we're going to do some more Doctor Who with Hunters of the Burning Stone.
I'm sitting on my couch reviewing comics, the worst birds that you will ever see. It's sad that comic books are bookies, but they're not. They're for everybody. If you doubt that I am a man, I am a man.
One rescue is complete, but won't be long before Thunderbirds are go once again. There! I spotted Cliff Richard in the shadows on their space guitar! Battle stations! Starfire is grabbing my hand because she wants me to pet her and give her scritches, which is kind of hard to do sometimes when I'm trying to do multiple things at once here. Yep, it's like batting at my hand every time I pull it away. Hello, my friends. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications on new video releases. If you'd like to support future videos, you can check out my Patreon, buy merch from the Store Envy link in the description, or check out the t-shirts available from Fourth Wall. Thanks for watching.